Hi guys.
Hello.
It's meal prep day today. We thought you would like to see one of our meal preps. So first we are starting with our vegetables. As you guys know, we buy frozen. It's more economical. They stay fresher longer, and it's really easy. So these are cut green beans. We have a big pot. All you do is drop them into the pot. Then,
this saves so much time. No cleaning the veggies either.
Exactly. Because if you were to buy green beans from the store, you would have to clean them all. You would lose a lot of them because usually you can't buy a lot of really good ones. Not here anyway.
So yeah, this video today we're going to show you how we prep and all the food and how easy it is.
Yep. And then when your beans are in the pot, you're going to cover with just enough water to cover.
And yeah, you just want to boil them. You don't, since they're already cooked, you just need to really heat them through. You don't need to like boil them for a long time. I'd say maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Not even that.
I usually just bring it to a boil, shut it off, drain it, and then it's good to go because we microwave them after anyway because we freeze all our meals. So you're gonna cook it again and they're already cooked like Kyle said. So that's how much water I put in. Then you just cover, turn it. I turn it on the highest setting and leave it until I feel like taking it off. Okay, so sometimes we have rice. This week we're having sweet potatoes. So I have 2 trays. I'm just gonna spray them with some cooking spray. This is just Great Value original cooking spray. So, you know, spray so that they're coated thoroughly. And we have about 8 or 9 sweet potatoes that I have washed. What I do is I just scrub them under cold water with my hands or with a cloth, whatever I feel like that day. Then I cut off any imperfections with a paring knife, and then I dry them up and they're ready to be cubed. Okay, so doesn't really matter how you cut them. I like to do it this way. Everyone cuts differently, I'm sure, but I'm just basically gonna do some cubing like that size, because we're gonna roast these up, season them. So we're gonna get these cut up, and then Kyle will show you how we season them.
So we forgot to say, as Nicole's chopping up here, preheat your oven to, we do 375, but you can do 375 or 400 for the potatoes, and they cook really fast. Sweet potatoes are not like normal potatoes if you've never worked with them before. They cook fast, so keep an eye on them. We do maybe 15 minutes, flip them, and then another 15 to 20 minutes, depending how you like them. Okay, my favorite part, seasoning. When you're not adding a lot of oil or butter to your potatoes, you want to go with spice. So we like to add a bunch of spice without adding many calories. We go with any kind of salt is fine. This is sea salt. We don't track sodium, but if you do, leave this part out. So, oh yeah, first, just a quick spray with your cooking spray, just because it helps the seasonings stick to the potatoes. So just a quick spray, not too crazy. And I just put a little sea salt in my hand. We like to be liberal with the salt because it tastes good.
And because again, we don't add any extra fats or anything.
So sprinkle your salt on. Now, if you have salt, you have to have pepper. So just regular old black pepper we use. Take a pinch, a handful. This is where you get to be creative with your own taste buds. We like salt and pepper, so we go pretty heavy, I guess. A little more. Like I said, you gotta add flavor when there's no fat, so. Okay, pepper. Do some onion powder. onion powder and garlic powder on roasted anything. Potatoes, veggies are very, very tasty.
Yeah, and it smells so good.
Yep, gives that nice aroma. Okay, so you're gonna make it rain on the potatoes. Next, garlic powder. You can also buy garlic salt, and then you wouldn't need to add the salt and the garlic powder, but this is just the powder. Be real liberal if you like flavor, guys. Don't be afraid. Okay, and we're gonna mix it up later, so it doesn't matter if it's completely even. Then you can stop there if you just want the flavor. If you also want a bit of spice, we're gonna add some chili powder and cayenne pepper. And you can get these anywhere. We got them at Walmart this time. So cayenne pepper is very spicy, very strong. You don't need a lot of it. That amount for a whole tray is perfect. We like the kick. If you don't add this. And like I said, don't worry about it being even because you're gonna mix it with your hands in a little bit. So just spread it around. And last, chili powder. These are our spicy, roasted sweet potatoes. So some chili powder. This is a real mild seasoning, so you can go a little more than the cayenne. So all your seasonings are on your tray, and you're just going to get in there with your hands and mix it all up so that you coat them as evenly as possible. Then you're going to throw them in the oven.
Thank you, Chef Kyle. Okay guys, that's what the sweet potatoes look like, all done.
And they eventually took 25 minutes per side. Flip them halfway through at 375 in the oven. Now it's time for chicken. So for the chicken, we're going to do salt and pepper. And this is bone-in skinless chicken. We always get the skinless, just a little less work. So salt those babies up, and then we'll pick the chicken that we want to eat off these bones when it's done roasting. I leave the oven heated at 375, and we're going to cook these for, in our oven it ends up being 35 minutes on the top rack, and then I move it down for another 35 on the bottom rack. So in total, an hour and 10 minutes it'll take.
And what are you using next?
This is some pepper. Salt and pepper those liberally. And then to switch it up a bit, we're going to use Italian seasoning on these.
Sometimes we use hot sauce. This time, herb.
Yep. Okay, now Italian seasoning is a nice blend. It's got majoram, I'm not sure how to say that, thyme, rosemary, sage, oregano, and sweet basil, and you can pick that up pretty much any grocery store. And what I do is grab not a handful, like a pinch, like this, and grind it up a bit in your hand to awaken the flavor. And then you're gonna spread it all over that chicken, and this is gonna make it taste so good, make it smell good, and you're gonna love it.
It looks delicious, but I have just one question for you, Mr. Muscles.
What's that?
Does time tell time?
No, and that was an awful joke, and we're gonna have to cut that out. Pretty much.
Now, however, if I said that, you would have come up with a cool joke like that. Except mine was funnier.
Yeah. Let's leave that up to the fans.
They'll say mine was funny, right guys?
Okay, so Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. Throw that in your oven.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, guys, so we've taken all the chicken off the bone. This is what it looks like. It can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, depending on how much you're cooking, how the type of meat that you're choosing, like boneless, bone-in, whatever. So that's how long ours took. And yeah, so we've done some meals already. This is what they look like once they've been put in containers. I'm sure you guys have seen them before. The blue lids are mine and the red lids are Kyle's. These ones are going in the fridge, and I already have some in the freezer. We always take out 3 days worth because we find any more than 3 days and it gets gross. So 3 days, and then we pull more out after the 3 days is up. Okay, so we didn't have to cook much meat this week because I like to make a little bit more. That way we just freeze it and then keep filling containers, and we always have extra containers in the fridge in case we need it. So here is my scale. Our scale, we've talked about what scale it is before. It is called Perfect Portions, and it is a digital scale. So I just turn it on, I set my paper plate on. It can be any plate. I clear it, and then I'm going to measure out for Kyle now. So he gets 4 ounces of meat. We do get this question quite often: how much? How do you know how much to eat, and how much should I eat? Meaning the person asking the question on YouTube, asking us how much do we think they should eat. Well, there isn't a correct answer for that because it really is through trial and error. Kyle and I basically just picked a number of ounces that we thought would be appropriate for us at our physical, like, fitness level, and at our weight size, I guess, that we're at, and then we adjust from there. If we're really hungry, we add more. If we're feeling like we don't need as much, then we lower it. So
then there's literally thousands of factors that could determine what you should be eating, and we know like 1 or 2 of them from a question on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So it's very, very difficult to answer that. Plus, we like Nicole said, our amounts can go up and down depending on the workload that day, depending on, you know, your exercise, depending on how you're feeling, depending on the weather, you know. So
yeah, and it really is, it's a personal thing for everyone. I mean, you can go online and get how many calories you're supposed to get for your age and your height and your particular size that you are at this moment, but it doesn't really mean anything. You're still gonna have to go through trial and error and figure out if that caloric amount that they've given you online will work for you, because chances are it won't.
And anybody that gives you a macro number or calorie number and says eat this number for the rest of your life, they don't know what they're talking about. Your body changes, and if you want to avoid plateaus, you're going to need to change your caloric intake too.
Yes, and also on low carb days, I take in more protein, and so does Kyle. So our protein amounts change on that day. I take in 4 ounces of meat of chicken instead of 3 on that day. Kyle keeps the same amount of chicken, but he eats more protein in other areas. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the green beans, and we do 1 cup. Now I always do a heaping, so technically it's probably a cup and a half, but it's good fiber and good nutrients, so there we go. And now we're going to do the sweet potatoes. Now Kyle gets 8 ounces, and again, that was specifically through trial and error how we figured that out. And I try to be pretty accurate on the scale, on the food scale. Sometimes, sometimes I gotta rip it in pieces.
Probably works out to about a cup, right? Close to it.
Around there. It depends on the size of the potato. potatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I do like to be accurate with this to make sure that we're getting enough because of how intense our workouts are. And 4 ounces for me. Okay, so this is what they look like when they're done. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. We thought that, you know, before we've shown you a full day of what we eat, we also did a video that shows you a full day of meal prep. So this is just for one meal. This is our big meal that we prepare in advance. Everything else we prepare the night before or the day of. But these are perfect because, you know, this is our biggest meal. We don't have to cook during the week. We just heat things up basically. Yeah, and I think that's it. We often get questions like, how do you prepare your food? How do you season it? What kinds of foods do you eat? So we hope that this answers some of your questions. Hope it helps show you how easy meal prep can be. I mean, some people online I've even seen buy pre-cooked chicken, and you can also, I think in the States, not here that I know of, but in the States, there's some people that buy pre-cut sweet potato, and all they'd have to do is cook it, just like with the green beans, and then they buy the chicken already cooked, and so you really have pretty much almost nothing to do if you do it that way. Yeah, so hope you guys learned some stuff. We hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave any questions that you have and we'll do our best to answer them. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or else you will get the green bean fist of doom. Bye guys.